What's up, everybody? Good to be back for another stream. And yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Obviously, we got the LL of Viserai. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. Oh, we got to turn the autofocus off. Oh, no. It keeps coming back to haunt me. So, we got to talk about that. We're going to talk about what it's going to do to the meta, kind of predict it a little bit, see what changes, answer some questions people may have. The current prediction is that Vis probably has to LL after week 3, and he will not be available for week 4, which makes week 4 very interesting. And it's going to kind of, I think what I predicted earlier is going to actually happen and come to fruition. And I will go back over what that is. And that is the sharp decline. Not sharp, but a decline in the performance associated with Syndra and a lot of the other aggro decks. I think we're going to see another tick down on those decks once Viserai leaves. And I'll explain my entire thought process on why that would happen or why I think it will happen. And yeah, we are going to celebrate the occasion by playing some Viserai games toward the end of the stream because, we're running out of time to do so. So we might as well get some games in for sure. What's up? Have a good stream. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. What's up? What's up? So we're pretty sure he LLs this weekend. I believe so. I believe your last chance to play him at a event will be Sunday, in my opinion. Will he need to win 19? If I did my math correctly, he needs to basically win exactly how much he's won each week before. Pretty much. He's been winning, like you said, 19. He's won what 24, and 14. So if you take the average, it's at exactly 19. So if he just does what he's done 2 weeks in a row, should be fine. And yeah, that is the current speculation. There is a chance where he could barely survive like a 998 situation toward the for the last week of RTNs, but for sure by the conclusion of RTN season, he will be gone, of course. But we will see. We will see. I'm judging a 50-person RTN. That is insane. But it also sounds like a ton of fun. 50-person. Where at? Thoughts on dousing Rune Blood in Vis? I've been really high on it. I'm not particularly a fan of the card. One, Viserai is kind of built in a way to where he wants to play kind of pitchless in a lot of situations. Obviously, he does sometimes, but not really looking to pitch for cards. Not really the idea. So running a card that no matter what happens, you have to pitch is kind of going against the strategy of the deck. What's up, Jacob? Good to see you. Played a 41-person RTN last week, which was pretty sick. That's awesome. It seems like overall, let me know in chat if the RTNs that you've been going to have been like higher attendance, lower attendance, stayed the same. Because the overall feedback that I've gotten recently from a lot of people is that it's definitely going up, and I'm just curious of like what people are experiencing in their LGSs. Because I think the game is growing a little bit for sure. I think it is. Maryland. I got that Vero and oh no, not Vero. Oh, you got to play with him? No. That's all right. Feisty locals, I'll tell you what. What up, Omar? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. So let's go ahead. Just a 40-person RTN in Harrisburg, PA. Which feels a little higher than normal. Good, good. That's really good. 48-person and 34. Is that relatively high though? Like 48 person in like Manhattan, New York's probably not the best turnout, depending. I don't know the scene. I'm just saying. Uh, I'm curious of relativity. Is it higher, lower, on par? Sorry, my dog is acting crazy. I do apologize. Uh, been the two RTNs, one was 40, the other 32 with a wait list. Definitely higher than the past RTNs for me. Thank you, thank you. Played a 60 person this weekend in Southern California. See, that just sounds like a normal AGE to me. I don't know. Ours definitely up a bit, maybe like 20% increase. That's really good. Terrific turnout in South. Sorry, hang on one sec. I'm gonna put my dog up. All right, sorry about that. Let's see. Yeah, 100% normal. Yeah, I mean, I know they run the AGEs down there and stuff like that, so you probably have 60 people event all the time. Ours definitely up a bit. Good. Good. 60 plus. Blood on the Bayou. Sounds fun. Waiting, hoping for Vis to LL this weekend to go to RTN and last week with Riptide. I think Riptide. I don't think I don't know if he gets better or worse. I do know that you are going to have to play him possibly different. Swap out a few cards because I think there's going to be a drastic meta shift when Viserai leaves. That's going to be what we kind of go over. So before we do that, let's go ahead and move on over to the recap. Okay, so this is week 1 numbers. Now we predicted that stuff would stay relatively the same, but Syndra moved up. Is what we predicted. If you want the receipts, they're in the last stream, or 2 streams ago, and that's exactly what happened. Syndra just moved up, and everything else stayed relatively the same. Now, here's what's going to happen. Or what we're predicting happens next week. Next week, we should see something very, very similar. I'm expecting maybe a little uptick in Zen. But other than that, no major shifts. It's going to be relatively stable for next week. However, I could see Syndra dropping below these two. I know a Syndra drop is coming. I just don't know if it's next week is probably a little too soon. So what I'm thinking is that Syndra stays in a pretty dominating position, but then week 4, assuming Viserai leaves, she's going to drop. And drop with her will be Prism. I think Prism drops down to about where Zen is, and then Syndra will move down. Probably in the ballpark of where Aurora is, and then just continue to fall off a little bit. Is kind of the idea. Let me get caught up in chat real quick. Sorry, I'm scrambled. I had to put everything together like last second, and oh man. Okay. So that is what we are predicting is going to happen. Okay. Week 3, Syndra could see a little bit of a dip, but she could hold, and then week 4 she drops. I guess the correct terminology would be by week 4 we will see a drop. I'm so sorry. I gotta turn the monitor off real quick. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, I think we're actually back this time. Oh man. What a day. Okay. Visco's Prism continues to get better. I'm gonna disagree with that. I know your thought process, and your thought process on the surface is probably correct. And you're saying that Vis is probably Prism's worst matchup, and I 100% agree. The problem is the meta is going to change in a way to where Prism's really not going to like it, in my opinion. I think we're going to see a strong defensive shift in the meta. We're going to see a strong resurgence in Enigma. Week 4, I expect Enigma to be upwards of where Marionette or Aurora is, basically. Just kind of all the meta share that Syndra had, I kind of expect it to dip down a little bit, and then Enigma kind of um, creep up, basically. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. That's kind of contradicting each other, right? Because you have a situation where Syndra's supposed to be good into Enigma, and there's also that situation where, you know, if Syndra's still relevant, why are they dropping? Like, well, I guess it does make sense because Syndra would be dropping and then Enigma would be gaining traction. So I guess it does make sense. Um, and it's not tier list time. No, we're just talking about meta shifts. No tier list. No tier list this time. We're just talking about meta shifts. But what we're predicting is basically things to stay relatively the same. A little bit of an uptick with Zen maybe for week 3. But by week 4, the end of our TN season, we're going to see a strong defensive shift in the meta. And that will force down Syndra, in my opinion. Enigma gains a little bit of equity. Prism also loses a lot of equity as well. And that is kind of what I am looking at. Obviously, that defensive shift gets delayed if Viserai misses the LL mark, which is to be assumed this weekend. Somebody in chat said that he needed 19, and he's averaged 24 and 14, which is 38, which would be exactly 19 average. So if he just does what he's been doing and he's consistent, he'll get there. And that's kind of what we are expecting. If that does happen, we'll see the defensive shift. If he doesn't LL till week 4, there'll be a delay, but the shift should still happen. And the idea is why would there be a defensive shift once Viserai leaves? I guess that's the burden of proof that I have to overcome instead of just, kind of spewing it out of my ass, right? And the idea behind it is, one, the obvious reason, right? You don't have that deck that is just punishing decks from just having a defensive posture, right? You don't have the Reaping Blades plus stacking Rune Chance to just sit there and punish those strategies. But moreover, if you look at Syndra, Aurora, depending on the situation, and then Prism, Marionette, all those decks, I think really don't like a defensively postured deck if the deck is built correctly and has certain tools to help combat certain strategies. New, not so much. New's very good at grinding it out and is going to be one of the decks that might take that defensive posture or go more defensive. And so that's kind of what I'm guessing is going to happen, is that all of these top decks really just do not want to see I mean, if you've ever played against Marionette or Mario and had 9 defense reactions or even 6 in your deck list, it's not a difficult game to win, is all I'm gonna say. I think I played 2 of them at Memphis with Viserai, and I don't think I dropped below 14 life. It was, as long as you play the D-Rex correctly, you understand like why they are using their mask and things like that. It's pretty straightforward. How how to the LL points work with season versus the total. So I'll break that down for you. So what's happening is this is just an accumulation of the season, from when the set releases till the next set releases. These have already been added. So the 119 has already been added. They are just showing you how many points the seasons or the heroes have collected during a season. So these have already been. It's not like they just accumulate here and then get added at one time. No, they already add them and they just keep a separate tally of what they have gained this season. So in this instance, if Viserai gains 56 points in the next weekend, he LLs, right? That is kind of the thought process there. Other than that, we can just kind of see where everything. I don't think anybody else has a chance to really go anywhere during RTN season. I think that's pretty obvious. Dash isn't going to jump up out of nowhere when she's getting absolutely 0 points, and I don't think Zen is going to gain quite enough traction to close it out. Although if he snipes like a Battle Harden or something like that, he could go before London for sure. But yeah, that's kind of how that works. Is they're just showing you the accumulation rate in the season. It has already been added to the actual number. That answers your question. Of course, of course. Um, so that's kind of my thought process on the shift that we're going to see. I know historically I have memed on Warrior a lot, but I think that Warrior is going to be positioned a lot better. I don't know if they're going to be like dominating or anything like that. I just think that Warrior will be better positioned once Viserai leaves. So that kind of give you a hint to where my thought process is when I say defensively postured decks. Kind of moving into the metagame once this goes. Okay. When this goes, Prism is gonna be so happy. Now, Kevin, I know you're the Vis player, right? Obviously, we got Battle Hardened Champion in the chat. But I'm gonna have to disagree with the fact that you're gonna like that you don't have to play the Prism or the Viserai matchup as Prism. But I think overall your matchup spread gets much worse after that hero leaves, which is crazy to say. But you're gonna have to trust me on this, or don't, or don't. It might take a couple weeks for that to actually come to realization, but that's kind of that's where my prediction's heading. So we will see. I'm really gonna miss Vis. He's given me my best record since I started playing the game. He's one of those heroes where I think a lot of people are gonna miss him, and a lot of people are just gonna absolutely be like celebrating the fact that he's gone. With Mordred tides and incantations and all that fun stuff. It's kind of love it or hate it kind of situation. But his LL storyline is like really good, right? Viserai will be the first hero from the first two sets to actually LL, which is, you know, it's significant, right? It means that it shows us an example of kind of the grounds they have to reach to really push those original heroes, right? Obviously all the arcane hero or the arcane rising heroes are relatively close, believe it or not. Yet Kano sitting above 700. You have Azalea above 8. You have Dash above 9. So Arcane Rising is really just kind of obvious. I'm not gonna say MST because MST is like it took MST a few months, what it took Arcane Rising for 3 to 4 years. So, but that set is every one of these heroes just got a piece that was like really pushed to take them over the edge. We looked at Azalea and we saw what that hero was, and then Outsiders came out and it just completely took the deck from being absolute dog shit um to not. And we saw Kano with Wildfire and then several tech pieces to go along with that. Also some just good deck building innovations on that front. And then Dash. Dash had a lot of tools that she gained access to. Everfest was a great set for her. But I don't think she really benefited from any set. Although when she came out, she was probably the best deck in the game. If I'm not mistaken, she kind of dominated that crew. So I think it was when crew dropped was when she really dominated the metagame. So I think she's just been strong and she's had to pick her spots on when she could actually, take down a tournament. She hasn't really dominated any meta since then, but she has just spiked a calling here or there every now and again to accumulate the points that she has earned with a little bit of fame derived from the Tree Frog Dash variant. So, I believe Noah is correct that this is not the problem for Jarl, it's MST. Anytime you have 30 something blues and they're actually offensive blues to where, like, if you have a deck that has 30 blues and they're not very off, they're not very offensive, or you can't generate a lot of rate from them, then it's like, then the ice deck doesn't have to achieve a certain rate to be competitive in the game. But if they can leverage a lot of values and have the blue count that high, it's kind of a doomed situation, to be honest. So that is kind of where my brain is at for this meta situation. What bad Prism matchups do you think will crop up after this LL? It's not okay. Let me put it this way. As a Prism player, would you rather have your opponent not block or block you? The answer to that question, I don't even play Prism. I can guarantee you the answer to that question is you would rather the opponent not block. What am I saying? I'm saying that there's going to be a lot more defensively postured decks in the metagame. So, if that is true, then you have a whole bunch of Prism players that are used to throwing heralds and not having the opponent block them, aka the Syndra matchup. It's why it's so good, and it's why she just beats on Zen and stuff like that. It's just anybody that does not block herald, she loves those matchups. Does she have tools to fight that, like Angelic Wrath and stuff like that? Of course, of course. But don't fucking forget that a lot of people are going to be getting a lot of sideboard slots back from you know, from Viserai leaving, and you could have more poppers come in because, Erase Face and Syndra, and there's just so many different things that I think Prism's really not going to like overall in the meta. I don't think it's a particular deck that she's not going to like. I think it's every single matchup that she currently has is going to be more defensively postured, with the exception, of course, of Aurora and Syndra. Those decks can't really defensively or have a defensive posture. So that is, but we'll see if I'm wrong. I mean, it's entirely possible. That is just how I am envisioning it. We will see. We will see. Yeah. As for me, with Viserai was the last deck that I played. We played it at Memphis, and we had an amazing time. We've been playing Viserai for a long time. We don't have Briar to fall back on because that was kind of what Vis was for me. So as far as what I'm going to start looking into, is I'm really interested in looking at assassin. And I already got my my assassin deck built. It's in there ready to go. And it we're gonna try it out. We're gonna buy a couple 100 claves and and go from there, a couple codexes. But we might have to try some assassin. I'm interested in what the deck can do. Which one, I'm not entirely sure. I think New is still gonna end up being the best one, just because she's from MST. I'm more than willing to be wrong, but I think that that's just what's gonna end up happening. And yeah, we will see. We will see. Let's pulse wave harpoon from Dynasty. Yep, that's a good point. That's a good point. Um I think I'd prefer solvable problems via a meta shift to an unsolvable. Yeah, I agree. 100% agree. I do think a lot of warmongers are likely going to be swapped for popper. Yeah, exactly. That it is a manageable problem, but it's a problem that I think you would rather not be there, right? Like once again, I'm not saying prison bad when Vis goes. I'm just saying that 30 days from now, you're gonna be like, damn, Vis, come back. That's the point that I'm trying to make. You just don't know it yet. You just don't know it yet. You're gonna look at your matchup spread and be like, man, I'd rather just have that auto loss. And speaking of auto loss, holy shit. I played an RTN and I ended up playing against you know, I played against Damien. He was on Prism, I was on Viserai, of course. And I've never really played the matchup that much. And it was like 40 to 12 or something like that. And I finally get like a Mordred hand or whatever, and he throws like a Herald of Protection. I'm just like no blocks. And then um he I said no blocks, I'll go down to 34. And he goes, okay, I concede. I just didn't want you to 40-0 me. So yes, the Viserai and Prism matchup was horrific. But I think the matchup spread is just going to be different. It's not like Nathan has ever been wildly wrong about a CC format. I mean, yeah, I've been wrong in some spots, but I think I've been overall. I think it's been a good run so far. It's been a good run. Um, I mean, even looking at this most recent one, which is probably, if you were to put it side by side, it's probably the least accurate. Kano, as after the results from the strong weekend, I predicted that Kano. I doubled down on the fact that he was not that good, and he has won exactly 3 RTNs. Just so happens that he was good for exactly one tournament, and it is what it is. I predicted the rising of an low to the ground aggro deck, and I was 100% wrong on which one. I got the wrong Draconic Ninja. But in my defense, when I threw Syndra up there, I literally said this was the one that I was the most unsure about. So, what can you do? But everything else, pretty solid. Pretty solid. Uh, my guy, you said Zen was S tier for Osaka. What? Yeah, and I think he was. Right? I mean, you had a bunch of Viserai. You had New. Those are 2 solid matchups. Because they were more defensively leaned. Osaka was the same meta that we had when Zen won like 4 tournaments in a row. It was just after. It was literally just after the World Championship. But it was the same meta. Nothing changed. So Zen was S tier. It just took a while to develop. There's this thing about metas where like things change, right? And my bad on predicting the final state. My bad on that one. I'll take the L there. I'll take the L there. Let's see. Let me get caught up in the rest of chat. Florian looks like a stronger choice going forward. That one's going to depend on how defensive we go, right? If we go really defensive, obviously he's there to punish that. But I don't know if we're going that defensive, but we'll see. Maybe that's the solution. Um, we'll That's too far. That's like some level 3, level 4 shit. Um, if I had some gold bars lying around, I could build a SAS. Yeah, bro, it's so wild. It's so wild. Without Malefic, I don't mind Vis, but yeah, that's the card that made the deck for sure, for sure. 'Cause I only play bad deck. Do you think Prism is going to get a lot stronger with Vis leaving? You missed that part. I think she actually gets weaker. Believe it or not, my opinion. I think that the meta slows down a little bit. Um, Rage Bait used to be believable. You're telling me, bro. Ever since Vero entered my life, bro, I tell you what, I've just become immune to it. I've just become immune to it. Okay. I think we're good. I think we're ready to just play some games. Unless anybody has any questions, I would love to answer them, and then we'll just play some Viserai games while we still can, because that's about to not be the case. Probably on Monday. It could be next Monday. We will see. All right. Let me go ahead and go here. This is the list we're going to play just because it's what I already have. I think this list is a little too defensive right now. I think the better way to run it is instead of like 9 racks, you run like, anywhere between 4 and 5. I just already have this one built. I'm not building another one when he's gone in a week. So, one, it's just going to depress me. And two, yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's just join this one. See what happens. Okay, let's do this one. Let's do some Fang. I don't even know what Fang players are even doing. So what we're gonna do is we want this for the longer matchup, and we want to be extremely defensive, and we want to stack probably because we can just manage that state pretty easily. Probably just what is that, 58? We need a couple more, so probably just add these swarms. Yeah, and then we'll just stack and be defensive. That's the plan. Tis the plan. We'll go with that. Although looking in their hands kind of disgusting. That might be a little bit better. I need grasp, so hopefully he leaves and brings the price down some. I can guarantee he probably will. I think that's a very safe assumption. So what we're gonna do here is just block here. Let them make the move. Sure. Or next draconic attack. Okay. Sure. So we got 7, and we just lay them both down. Pretty self-explanatory here. We do not want to activate an instance. We do not want to sync a card because that card's goaded. We want defense react. The Orbital Blade LLing is crazy. That is true. It's gone. But the reaping, there's no need to weep. We still got the reap. All right. No damage. Always good. That's what we want. This is good. It's actually really good. Uh, yeah, it's like really good. Yeah, because we just get to go swarming, which will be all no, all three modes because we made two and then played one. So all modes, and then we get to go bam into bam. So really good, like just strong turn out the gate. Yellow sink below, brother. Holy shit. Yellow sink below. Brother, we struggling out here. Don't know if the meta changes that much. What is it? Yes, now I can play my 30 blue shark charmer. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if we're changing that much. That seems like a bit of a reach. A bit of a reach. Just chip them down. Chip them down. We really don't want to like be aggressive, but when we draw a hand like that, it's yeah, it is what it is. Blame Josh for that one. Yeah, yellow sink blow was his idea. Oh God, I gotta talk to him about that. We're gonna have to have it. We're gonna have to have a chat. Yellow sink is a choice I cannot respect. We don't have to stack when we're just dealing damage. Okay, he blocked with dynamos, so obviously he intends to swing twice. Something we're gonna keep in the back of our mind. Unfortunately, the situation here is not a good one. Now, this is one of those situations where I think a lot of players are actually going to make a mistake and get a little bit greedy because could go Mordred Tide and then swarming and do whatever else. Problem is we're off of Tunic counter here, so I actually want to get the blessing into Arsenal for the next turn when we'll have Tunic counter on 3 is where my head is currently at. So currently I'm going into this process with the assumption I'm going to have to give up the Mordred Tide. Unfortunately. Don't want to, but might just have to. So we're gonna block 1. See what happens. Or 3, of course. See what happens. And if the turn is not as threatening as we think, let's just tell me what the final number is. I don't fucking know. 7. Wow. Wow. Sure. I guess there is a world where we could have uh I mean he could still like swing, right? No. Oh yeah, because it was only one. I don't know which one's actually worth more in this situation with two counter on 3. We only if we had more malefics out, it's 100%, and we've already seen a lot of go again. There's a second swarming there, so I'm actually gonna like have everybody criticize the shit out of me, and I'm gonna block with the Mordred Tide. Believe it or not. And then we're gonna arsenal the blessing. See what happens. This is a really good situation in which we did not need. Oh God, well, I wish I had a mortar tide right now. Oh my God, mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. Um, wow, this hand goes hard with the mortar tide. Holy shit. Oh my God. Okay, so tenant counter now doesn't matter. We basically just want to um play both of these. That means this is a dead card. I mean, we could play it. There's just no need to play it. And they are going to block. Or they're gonna draw a card. I think this is just the hand that we this is just where we gotta do something. 'Cause we didn't play anything. Should have been greedy. We should have. But hindsight, it's a thing. They are gonna get the resources, which is fine. I should have blocked with the Rune Rager there, but I guess Arseling, it's okay. Just not exactly what we want to be doing. I guess actually what we're gonna do is we're actually going to play the cussing. Then we're gonna play the swarm. And what that's gonna do is because the cussing is there, this gets a 3 block, or at least armor and dynamos. Um, and more importantly, we now have the 2 chance in the back, right? So he's gonna give that and dynamos probably. But he's probably not gonna let this hit. And then we're gonna dirge it afterwards. That way we keep the maximum amount of rune chance at one time because we have not seen a ninth blade. So we're gonna start prepping for that. This is the plan that we're going with. So this is exactly what we wanted. We did not want the cussing to or the thing to hit because it would have cost us a rune chant. But now we dirge away the cussing after we've made 2 in the back. We still have go again, and then we play the beautiful Arsenal card. For a total of 10 plus 3 effective on the board, ready for the ninth blade whenever we see it. We are just ready. This one's easy. We are just going to block, 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 block. What's up, Nico? Good to see you. A little late for the RTN attendance talk, but we're having 100-person RTN this weekend in Brazil. That's awesome. That is so sick. I'm telling you, people are gonna shit on me for giving up Mordred Tide so easy, but I just in this matchup, I think the most important thing is literally blocking and just setting up. And I don't want to have the situation where I'm kind of forced into. I mean, this doesn't do anything if it hits, right? I mean, he can grains, sure. And this way we are protected for the following turn. Probably look to make a purgatory move sometime soon, is the idea. Okay, this is good. So we could block 6. The problem is we do not want. Bro, I keep getting punished for not arseling Mordred Tide, bro. Holy cow. This doesn't always happen. You don't always just draw the rune chant generation like the instant shit like the next turn. Yeah, we're playing this while we can. We're we're just we're trying out here. So far we've learned just Arsenal Mordred Tide. Just be greedy. Just be greedy. That is what we have learned. I think what we're gonna go here is I don't think 8 does it. Hmm. He has to mark me though, which means it has to be an on hit mark. What you got? What you got? Sure. Might have been better to hold that. The problem is I didn't want him to draw before throwing the second blade was the main. Well, I guess I'm not marked, so it doesn't actually draw. So I probably should have saved it, but we'll see what this dagger actually gets up to. It could just be a 1 or 2. Yeah. So I should. It cost me 2 value, right? No, it only goes to 2. Okay, never mind. It did. It was literally the exact same value, no matter what. But we could have blocked that. I tell you what. Because that one's for 7. We need to get in this block value while we can. And we can just drop it. We're just waiting for a 9th blade, and then we can get it going. Charge it up. Go up to 21. And then just pass it. They're on a random 4-card hand playing cards like yellow sink below. So where the bricks at? Where the bricks at? Where the bricks at? Oh Lord. So what we're gonna do in this situation is perk the shit out of him. And say what you got. Is that other card instant? Oh, we got it. Okay, still has 1 floating, so still gets to swing again. That's fine. This is irrelevant to the situation, but I guess we get to arsenal it, maybe. Could block with it. We'll probably get a lot of tempo. I wish it was read the runes and I would just Creeper's Tune to counter it right now. Because we blocked with an attack. But unfortunately, it's blessing and we don't want to pay for it. So I guess we just keep it. We haven't seen a single Sonata, which does have me a tad worried, but I guess we'll have 2 rune chance in the back no matter what. So yeah, we're gonna hang on to it. All right, let's tie the game up. Okay, so we're sitting 12 and 21. It's a total of 33. They're 100% jamming armor here for 5. So they have to account for 28 damage. Has to be blocked from the hand, or there's 28 value that will put pressure on the hand. Which means if they don't give me anything, they can go to 2 if they really want to. Don't see that happening, but more than likely, what should happen here is they give me a card on the physical. If they have a blue, they might give me that because they're not at 3 fealties yet, so they don't have the ability to. Just can't go to 2 with me just sitting on 2 rune chance anyway. Super risky. With how little armor running around right now, half tempted to pull out a turtle burst build. I don't know. I mean, it's actually probably pretty decent against Syndra, to be honest. I don't know. I haven't given it much thought. So we did get the card, which is ultimately what we were wanting to do. Getting 2 cards is even better. Really happy that we kept this because maybe we can throw an attack and then just creepers it in on top to really just keep the pressure on. But taking them to 8, them doing nothing with a 2-card hand. They basically only have access to like a Blade Runner line. We still have some armor, so we are sitting just fine with 2 rune chance in the back. See what their turn looks like. I mean, that works. That works. That is a hand of flesh and blood cards. Yeah. Yeah, you got it. I bet he was just trying to arsenal this, swing this, and then dump into grains, and I'm not gonna let him. This is a hand of cards, that's for sure. Can't get over the little bitty one? The little bitty one? Not like this. Come on, just do your red sink below. Oh, that's it. Oh, that's it. A fealty? Oh no, guys, he's gonna get 2 vigor tokens. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Well, first we're gonna play Mordred Tide. We're gonna play. See what happens when you don't block with Mordred Tide. Oh man. Maybe I'm being a tad conservative. I don't know. Maybe. For the emotes. For the emotes. Kyle's got some good ones, that's for sure. Make 2 in the back on this bad boy. The value. Then we get to go Rune Rager Swarm with the option. We can audible here, depending on what happens. Send some Rooney boys. Definitely get blocks on the physical because we're threatening like hella lethal. Okay, we're actually A-Bing. That's fine with me. We make 4 in the back. Oh, we're hella A-Bing. Okay. Sure. So we cannot play this as an instant, which is okay because we are just going to pitch it anyway. No big deal. And we have a little bit of information here on the hand that there is not another blue card. So the question now is, do we creepers now to send the 2 rune chance, or do we save it for next turn? And because he's on a 1 card hand, I think we do it now and just have 3 for the following turn. Although there's an argument because we haven't seen a single Sonata, like not a single one. So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm going to send the Reaping Blade, send the 4 and 3, which is enough pressure to make him nervous and give me the last card. But at the same time, we're gonna creepers in the blessing after the sword swing. And then that will put us above 4, which is the golden number to make Sonata get go again, which is ultimately what we are trying to accomplish. Putting him to 4 with 1 card in hand. We are going to take Tunic Counter, activate Creepers, play Blessing. It gives us 2 in the back, some Mordred, and then we'll get another 3 at the beginning of the turn, which is over 4. Like I said, so Sonata, when we draw it, because it's very statistically likely, like we've played this game before, uh, we are still good because it will have enough to give the Sonatas go again, which is the entire point of the card that we are actively trying to accomplish. And that's what we're trying to do here. And that's exactly what we're doing. And so what we're going to do here is just block with the creepers. You got it. Okay, so now what we do is we go Malefic, and then the first one, what we need to do is X equals 4 because we do not want to pitch a card. We want to play everything in our hands. We're going to go X equals 4, but that's going to make 1 in the back, which is very, very important. And we're going to go ahead and grab the blessing. But now what we do, uh, the very important part here, now we hit the golden number of 6. So now we get to go X equals 3, which costs 6, and we get to get Rune Blood Barrier, which is now acting as a Revel in Rune Blood effectively. And then we get to just yeet this bitch at him and go 4 and 11, making a bunch in the back because we have the, 1 or 2 Malefics on board. I forget. But either way, should be enough to clean it out against Fang. And once again, that very minor decision of, like, imagine this hand if we made the rune chance to send on the previous turn. This turn looks way different because we are no longer open to the rune blood barrier line, unfortunately. So very important to just have that situational awareness on what has been played and what is not, to really just you know you can play off creepers with tunic counter if you're feeling spicy. Yep, that's exactly what we did, but we did it at the right time, the most important time. That's the important part. Um, yeah, this deck needs to go. Yeah, a lot of people were waiting on it. A lot of people were waiting on it to go. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm gonna miss it personally, but I do agree that Viserai is just the least interactive hero on the planet, and a lot of people don't enjoy that, and I definitely understand that. So, um, I get it. I get it. Okay, we got Big Bad Bolton. I think we just do the exact same game plan, to be honest. We're just going to um just stack. And if they try to combo, what do we have in our toolkit to combat them comboing? That's ultimately the question. And I'm not sure I haven't. So can we do this whole uh, strat of just sitting back? I guess we can't, right? Because if they're comboing, hmm, we might have to play with some agency. It's entirely likely that we have to, because they can just stack. Um, I think they got to go combo here, even though it's DGA for Decimator Great Axe. I think they have to go combo. And if they are Great Axe, I don't need the D reacts to kill them. So I think we board like it's aggressive. Is our game plan. I think that's ultimately what we're doing. Yeah, we just don't need the D reacts now, right? I think that's that's the ultimate lesson learned here. We just do not need D reacts. Okay, we go become, get rid of swarm, go get cussing, make a rune chant, cussing, dirge on the cussing. Pass. And basically beg the question of what now? The most important thing that we actually need to do, that's very important in this situation, is we need to take a point of damage. I know that sounds stupid, but we need to, because if he does have like CYB or anything like that, we want to make it sure that like literally he cannot resolve any life gain. Is ultimately what we are trying to accomplish. I would like to take damage, but this is not the hand because I just want to get this shit out of my hand. Ideally. Go again into what? Or are you looking for a reaction or something? What's happening? I hope you pump it to 9 because I want to take damage. Man said decimated great axe and wasn't lying. He was not. Now, if you throw a CNC, god damn it. Okay. All right. I'll be honest. I didn't expect that one. If you pummel this shit, we're gonna have problems. Ain't no way he's gonna pummel this shit, bro. There's no shot. There's actually no shot. Can't get my Sonata, bro. Bro. Did that really just happen? Bro, I just blocked 9 on the decimator and got CNC pummeled after. What? What just happened? Is that legal? Bro, this homie threw a blue pummel in the pit zone, bro. Oh, this dude's wild, and I'm here for it. To be honest, if we're being 100% honest, I'm here for it. Sure. I'll block with that one. Bro, I got bamboozled, bro. I mean, bamboozled. Now I gotta protect this shit. I like actually just can't let him like have it. Feels kind of bad. Technically, chat, it all went to plan. I said I wanted to take damage. I just was not exactly. The idea was not take 10 and discard. That was not in the equation. But you know, it is what it is. Okay, so what are we? So we have a decimator for 10. Okay. The question is, what are we doing with this particular hand? So I kind of want to wait for. We really got to make these rune chants count. The problem is this dude's on some weird shit, so I don't want to like have to play around CNC and shit. That is our second ninth blade, something we have to keep in mind. But there's a reason we run 3. So we take 2. And I guess we just go ahead and play both. As wrong as it feels, but I guess I really don't want to play around as CNCs. I really don't. Okay. Okay. Okay, so you're going to pummel me. So what I'm gonna do is draw something to shelter me from it. And if you don't have it, then that's like also cool. Yeah, see, I'll just get rid of that. No big deal. Sure. That's fair. Bro, heard in the TCG. God said, watch this. Uh, the problem is this dude's on some weird shit. uh, bro found the counter deck at the last minute. Oh no, not like this. Wait, he doesn't have soul. I found the weakness to the deck, chat. I can just overblock the shit out of it, and there's not a damn thing he can do about it. The problem is what is it gonna cost me? That is, but I don't want any of this shit. So I'm just gonna give it all to him. What are we at? 21? Okay, that's enough. We'll keep the become. Wait for something good. Okay, we have Runeblood Barrier. It's a little bit of an awkward one. We do have a little bit of a situation where we can become into um we can tune it counter into the rune blood barrier, so we can like do a we do a Mordred line here. We can become discard this, get Mordred, play Malefic, play Barrier, go full defensive on the next turn. The Mordred gets a little bit of value. I am worried about the Mordred's actually getting value, to be honest. Uh, I don't think we have anything that cares about any of that. I need Tunic counter and this to pay for this, and this to discard for this. So I think we just take 6. Or wait a second. How is Mordred Tide worded? Fuck. It says whenever you make a rune chant, a rune chant loses its name. Uh, sorry. I need to do this different then. I think this turns off Mordred Tide, if I'm not mistaken. I'm like 90% sure. Terrible, terrible, terrible hand to have Rune Blood Barrier. Really don't want to take any damage and lose, lose the chance. But yeah, this hand doesn't do a whole lot. So we're probably pitching 2 reds. Didn't have the pummel. I mean, this is bait. I think this is like hard bait. So what we're gonna do, I mean, the problem is I can't play around it, so we might just lose. This is just too good to give up, right? And we don't have to discard if it is pummel. So we're just gonna play like he ain't got it. Is literally what we're gonna do. And he does have it. That's fine. It just means we lose 4 rune chance, which does suck. But it's not the end of the world. We just do x equals 8. That's fine. And we get a blessing because it's the clunkiest. And we pass turn. Okay. So we have a lot of good stuff. Okay, we have that. We can't really become into anything like massive. One read, so we can. The problem is we can't discard an attack. We can Sonata for an attack and just say we're gonna hit because we're gamers. But we can't discard our last Ninth Blade. It's not something we are actively trying to do. How many more CNCs they got? 1 CNC. That's our first Mordred Tide, so we're not worried about. I think what we're gonna do is just Mordred Tide into. We don't like need the Ninth Blade. I would just really like to have it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna Sonata, hopefully hit, and then go and get play the Become to go get a Read the Runes is our goal. So we're gonna say 0. Could actually pay into it. That might actually be the right answer, is to go and ditch this. But we got it. And so then we're going to then I'll send an arcane damage, might slow him down just a little bit, which is fine. We could also, I mean, we have Mordred, right? And so this trigger plus these two is 8 in the back. So we're one short. We're almost able to go Rune Rager into Ninth Blade, which would be sick. But we're one short. We had one more Malith. If we didn't get pummeled that one time, we'd be able to do it. And I think it would be just enough to do it. I think it would be just enough. Does Ripple Away work versus Mordred Tide? I think so, yeah. So, oh, you're saying become, but you're saying play become and then just fail to find is what you're saying? Yeah. Um, I'm not. I think this line's fine, and then just get the. Actually, we could even go. No, I think it's actually more value to just get the read. Okay. So in this situation, the one thing is we have to make sure we kill him in the turn. Like we have to like make sure that it's enough is the only problem. So I'm gonna wait a little bit longer. Which could be wrong. We go Malefic into Dirge, which gives us 39. Maybe we shouldn't have blocked with creepers. That was probably should have given Tunic in that situation. We don't have any more revels, but just being able to throw these incants on the same turn is like really huge. But basically, we just need to survive this turn, and I think we're good. I mean, there's no way he gets to like 13, right? Okay. So this turns off Viserai. The okay part about this is we're getting the value of the Mordred off of the Malefics, not the hero ability. So if we play Mordred, play Malefic, we lose 2. Then we Rune Flash, lose 2, Ninth Blade, lose 2, but we gain what? It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll gain 10 in the back. That should be enough to just kill because, yeah, from that, it'd be like, yeah, that should be enough. I'm not going to take the time to sit here and count. And then those malefic triggers become a lot more. So we did lose. I mean, it was good erase face. It saved what, 6 damage from the 3 Viserai triggers. So if we come up short, it was a clutch erase face. But this should be a lot. Josh, this is actually your fault. I'm over here trying to click through 40 rune chants. I even got hard debated. I mean, just big time debated. Ten in the back. Then we throw another 19. Casual. GG. We did it. We did it. Another person that really cannot wait for this hero to go. Oh man. Yeah, you can choose not to discard Room Flash and Cake. Yep. It's not worth it to pop off last turn. I think we came up short if we did. I think if we really needed just a little bit more, to be honest. So I know my eyes zoomed in on because I mean, if you look, we on this turn, we still almost came up a little bit short. Because if these were blues, then like, you know, we had to make sure. We had to kill him in one go. Had to. If he survives, I have 10 cards and I can't close it. There's no way. So we just know that that's how we have to play it. So it is what it is. But yes, that was the abomination, probably, Josh, that you created, right? Amnesia does not impact the creation of tokens named rune chants. Ah, I see. So I fucked up that last one then. I messed up that other play. I want to see this play against Syndra. Are you talking about the Bolton list, or are you talking about the Bolton list? Because the Bolton list probably does fine. Syndra into that Vis list it's way weaker. I think you have to play the more tempo oriented Viserai to be a little bit better into Syndra. Basically, you need to have Drawn to the Dark Dimension, things like that. That's an old school Vis list. That's like really close to like what Noah played at Worlds, kind of situation. But Yeah, that one is gonna be a lot less good into Syndra specifically. Bolton breaker of rocks, more like kicker of rocks, bro. So yeah, Josh, that's all your fault. But no one wants to see this. I'll help decimator. Oh god. The fact that in sideboarding, I was like, okay, let me just choose this one because it doesn't matter. Either way happens, I can win. It was just, it's not it. It's not it. But I got hard. I blocked literally like 10 on a decimator axe or 9 or something, and then he literally glinted and then CNC pummeled me. I mean, he kind of high rolled. He kind of high rolled. But we still got there. We still got there, you know. Make a Daroon chance. Make a Daroon chance. But I think this stream's going to be a little bit shorter. I'm going to hang out for a little bit. If you have any questions about upcoming R10s or anything, now is the time to ask. If there's anything I can do to help you prep, answer a question or two, whatever the case may be, please feel free to throw it into chat now. We did have the earlier discussion on what we think the evolution of the meta will be with Viserai leaving. If you missed that, please go to the first 30 minutes of the stream or whatever the case may be, and I broke it all down on how I think that the meta is going to shift more defensively, and there's going to be some decks that love that and some decks that hate that, and we will see. Warriors need their own version of Zen State. Warriors need a lot of stuff. They need a lot of stuff. The Boogeyman comes out, in my opinion, Enigma. I agree. That is the one of 2 decks that I thought we're going to see a big rise in the metagame going forward. So I am 100% on board with you, Pockets, that I think Enigma will see a increase in representation, especially as the defensive decks start to pick on Syndra a little bit, assuming they can answer the appropriate questions. I'm making that assumption. So if I'm between Prism and Jarl in the last week of RTN, what are your thoughts where the meta will be for that choice? I think Prism's fine for the last week. I said earlier that I think that Prism will fall off. I think it's going to take time for that to happen. It's not going to be overnight, week over week, anything like that. So I think you're safe with Prism. With that being said, Jarl still probably be a decent choice, if I'm being honest. Depending on, I don't know. With RTNs, I can't answer that question without you telling me what your local meta is. So if you can tell me that, I can tell you exactly which one I would play. Aurora versus Vis for RTN. What should I bring for armor and sideboard? You're playing Aurora? Am I understanding that correctly? Sideboard against Vis. So with RTNs, you should have the ability to scout. That's the important part. If you see people playing a more stacky build like I just played, it's very easy to run the combo package. I think the combo package is just a safe kind of bet. But the correct answer is that if you know they're going to block a lot, they have a lot of D reacts, and they're going to not stack, but like do the whole tempo game plan, then you want to have the combo. The combo is less valuable if they're running a more tempo-based list. So your normal combo, if you're not familiar with it, is like Aether Iron Weave, Flicker Wisp, and Arc Lightning. And you just keep pinging, and making rune chants and stuff like that. So just do an extreme amount of damage out of nowhere with very little setup. And Viserai doesn't like that, especially when it's split damage that he doesn't want to pay for. It's usually pretty good. How does Vis want to play into Fi, and who is favored? My local Vis player kept trying to race me, and I told him that sitting back, I think you should play the tempo game plan, not the tempo slash stack. Yes, you should not be. I mean, you can't. It depends on the list. Is the correct answer. But I think the optimum way to play that matchup is to kind of like stack up a little bit, throw a ninth blade, stack. That that little in between. But also understanding the extreme amount of value you can get out of Succumb is very important as well. And we do a post Vis meta tier list, not tonight. I am exhausted. But it is something that we could do, maybe. Maybe I don't want to commit to it. Um, it could be something that we do next week or the week after. Entirely possible. Really just depends. Um, but we will see. We will see. But I hope that answers everybody's questions. And I think that that's pretty much going to call it. I want to thank everybody for joining me. I really do appreciate it. And I hope everybody has an absolute blast. I do think Vis is gone after this weekend. I do. I do. I think this is his last weekend to play him if you want to play him. But thanks everybody for joining me. I really do appreciate it. And I will see everybody next week. Good luck at your RTNs if you are attending any. And yeah,